Let me ask you something. You wake up tomorrow morning, you check bank account, and the number you see, it's the same number it was last month, maybe a little less. And you sit there phone in hand thinking, where did it all go? If that feeling hits a little too close to home, stay with me. Because what I'm about to share with you in the next 15 minutes could genuinely change the way you think about money. Forever. And no, this isn't one of those videos telling you to stop buying coffee. That's not why you're broke. The real reason is something most people never even talk about. Here's a number that should scare you. In Pakistan, studies show that over 85% of working adults are living paycheck to paycheck. In America, one of the richest countries on earth, nearly 60% of people can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money. 60%. Think about that. These aren't lazy people. These aren't people who don't work hard. Most of them wake up early, put in long hours, come home tired, and still end up with nothing to show for it by the end of the month. So the question isn't whether this is happening. The question is why? Why, with all the information available today, with YouTube and books and courses everywhere, why are the majority of people still struggling financially? The answer is something I call the broke cycle. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Here's how the broke cycle works. And I want you to pay close attention because you might be living inside it right now without even knowing. You earn money, then you spend money, then you feel okay for a few days, then you run low, then you stress, then payday hits, and the whole thing starts over again. Earn, spend, survive. Repeat, that's the cycle. And the terrifying part, it's designed to keep you in it. Think about it. Every single day, you're being targeted by thousands of advertisements. Every app, every billboard, every influencer is pushing you towards spending. The economy runs on consumption. So society, in a very quiet, very polite way, trains you to be a good consumer, not a good investor, not a good saver, a good spender. And most people never question it because everyone around them is doing the same thing. But here's the thing. The people who actually build wealth, they got out of this cycle, and they didn't do it by earning more. Or not at first. They did it by changing something much more fundamental, how they think about money. Let me break this down as simply as I possibly can. There are two types of people in the world when it comes to money. And before you say anything, this has nothing to do with intelligence, education, or family background. These are two different operating systems, two completely different ways of seeing the world. The first type, and this is the majority, the 99%, thinks about money like this. I earn, I spend, and whatever's left over is my savings. This seems logical, right? It's how most of us were raised. You pay your bills. You buy your groceries, you treat yourself a little, and if anything's left, maybe it goes in the bank. The second type, the 1%, the wealthy minority, thinks about money like this. I earn, I save and invest first, and I live on what's left. Same sentence, completely different order. And that one shift, that single reordering of priorities is the foundation of every financial success story ever told. It even has a name, pay yourself first. You've probably heard it. But hearing it and actually doing it are two very different things. And I'll show you exactly how to do it in a moment. But first, let me introduce you to something called the money mindset gap. This is the invisible wall that keeps most people broke. And it's not a gap in income, it's a gap in understanding. Most people grew up in homes where money was either never discussed only when things were bad, or treated like something shameful. Or nobody sat them down and explained interest rates. Nobody showed them the power of compounding. Nobody taught them that money, when managed correctly, can work for you while you sleep. So by the time they're earning their own income, they have all the responsibilities of an adult and none of the financial education. They're driving on a highway with no GPS, no map, and honestly, no idea where they're going. And then life happens, a medical bill, a broken phone, a wedding, an unexpected expense. And because there's no financial cushion, no safety net, that one event sets everything back. And then comes the debt. And once you're in debt, you're not just struggling to get ahead, you're running just to stay in place. This is the quiet tragedy that happens to millions of people every single year. Not because they're failures, but because they were never taught. So let me teach you right now. Let's talk about the 5 money principles that separate people who build wealth from people who don't. The first principle is this: your income is not your wealth. This is the one that shocks most people when they really sit with it, because we've been trained to believe that a higher salary equals financial success. But think about lottery winners. Studies show that within 5 years, the majority of lottery winners are back to their previous financial situation or worse. Because wealth isn't about how much you earn. Wealth is about how much you keep, grow, and protect. You can earn $50,000 a year and build real lasting wealth. You can also earn $200,000 a year and have nothing to show for it. The difference isn't the number on your paycheck. It's what happens after the money lands in your account. The second principle: every rupee, every dollar needs a job. One of the biggest financial mistakes people make is vagueness. They have a vague sense that they should save more, a vague sense that they're spending too much. But vague goals produce vague results. When your money has no direction, it disappears. It leaks. It gets absorbed by things you won't even remember buying. The fix? A simple budget. And I don't mean a complicated spreadsheet spreadsheet with 50 categories. I mean, a basic framework, something like this. Take your monthly income and split it into 3 buckets. 50% for needs. This is rent, food, transport, utilities, the things you genuinely cannot survive without. 30% for wants. This is entertainment, eating out, shopping, the enjoyable stuff. 20% for savings and investments. This is the money you pay to your future self first before anything else. This framework is called the 50-30-20 rule. It's not perfect for everyone. You might need to adjust based on your situation. But as a starting point, it gives your money direction. And direction is everything. The third principle, and this one is life-changing, is the magic of compounding. Let me tell you a story. Two people, Aisha and Bilal, both 25 years old. Both earn the same salary. Aisha starts investing 5,000 rupees a month at age 25. She does this for 10 years, then stops completely. She never adds another rupee after age 35. Bilal waits. He spends his 20s enjoying life, which, to be fair, is very human. He starts investing the same 5,000 rupees a month at age 35, and he keeps going for 30 years straight. He never stops by age 65. Who has more money? Most people would say Bilal. He invested for 30 years. Aisha only invested for 10, but the answer is Aisha by a significant margin. Because she started 10 years earlier, her money had more time to compound, to grow on top of its own growth. Interest earning interest. Returns building on returns. The snowball effect. This is the power of compound interest. Albert Einstein reportedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. And the single most important ingredient? Time. Not how much you invest. Time. The earlier you start, even with small amounts, the bigger the result, which means if you're watching this and thinking it's too late, it's not. But it is also true that waiting another year genuinely costs you. Not metaphorically. Mathematically. The fourth principle, debt is the opposite of wealth. Now, I want to be careful here because not all debt is created equal. There is what we call good debt, debt that is used to acquire something that grows in value or generates income. A business loan, a mortgage on a property that appreciates. Education that leads to significantly higher earnings. Used wisely, this kind of debt can accelerate wealth. Then there is bad debt, and bad debt is the quiet killer. Credit card balances, buy now, pay later schemes, consumer loans for phones, furniture, clothes, holidays, or this is debt taken on to purchase things that lose value or that have already been consumed while you're still paying interest on them. Here's what bad debt does. It takes your future income and redirects it to your past spending. You're working this month to pay for something you bought 6 months ago. While you're doing that, you have less money to invest, less money to build with, less money to grow. Every month you carry bad debt, you are paying a penalty for it. And that penalty compounds just like investments do, except in the wrong direction. If you have bad debt right now, getting out of it is the single highest return financial move available to you. Paying off a credit card charging 20% interest is the same as earning 20% guaranteed returns. No investment in the world offers that consistently. The fifth principle, assets over expenses. This is the core of the wealth building philosophy. And it comes down to one simple question you start asking yourself before any significant purchase. Is this an asset or an expense? An asset is something that puts money into your pocket over time. A rental property, stocks, a business, even a skill set that increases your earning power. An expense is something that takes money out of your pocket. A new car, the latest phone, designer clothes, premium subscriptions you forget you have. Most of the things advertised to us are expenses wearing the costume of status. Now, here's the important nuance. Expenses aren't evil. You need them. You deserve to enjoy your life. The problem isn't spending on things you enjoy. The problem is spending on things that feel like success, but are actually consuming the exact money you could be using to build real success. The wealthy don't look rich because they spend on looking rich. So the wealthy look ordinary, sometimes surprisingly ordinary, because they've redirected the money that would have gone to appearances toward assets. And those assets quietly, invisibly, relentlessly grow in the background. Now let me paint you a picture of what this actually looks like in real life. Meet Hamza. 26 years old. He earns 45,000 rupees a month in a regular office job, nothing extraordinary. After discovering these principles, here's what he does. He sets up an automatic transfer on payday, 9,000 rupees, 20% of his income goes directly to a separate savings and investment account before he even sees it. He never touches this money. Then he lives on the remaining 36,000. In the first month, it's uncomfortable. He's adjusting. But by month 3, he barely notices. The budget becomes normal. The lifestyle adjusts. And meanwhile, that 9,000 a month is quietly compounding. Fast forward 10 years. Hamza hasn't gotten any extraordinary raises. He's just been consistent. That disciplined habit, that one simple shift has built him a financial cushion that most people spend their entire lives dreaming about. He has an emergency fund. He has investments growing. He has options that his peers don't have. He can afford to take a risk on a business idea. He can afford to say no to a job he hates. He has something that most people never achieve. Financial breathing room, that's what this is really about. Not Lamborghinis, not mansions, breathing room, options, freedom. Let me address something you might be thinking. You might be thinking, okay, this sounds good, but my income is too low. I can barely cover my basic expenses. How am I supposed to invest when there's nothing left? This is real. This is a genuine challenge that many people face. and I don't want to minimize it, but I want to offer you a reframe. The question isn't whether you can afford to invest. The question is, can you afford not to? Even if you start with 500 rupees a month, that habit, that behavior is building something more valuable than the money itself. It's building a new relationship with money. It's building the discipline and the identity of someone who manages their finances. And as your income grows, which it will, if you're deliberately working on your skills in your career, that percentage stays the same while the absolute amount increases. The goal isn't to find the perfect amount to start with. The goal is to start today with whatever you have, because the alternative, waiting until conditions are perfect, is exactly how people stay broke for decades. Let's zoom out now. Let's talk about where this leads. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. Two versions of you. Version 1 never changed anything. Still on the broke cycle, still earning, spending, surviving, repeating, still one unexpected expense away from panic, still trading time for money with no end in sight. Version 2 discovered these principles, applied them imperfectly because perfection isn't the point, made mistakes along the way because everyone does, but stayed consistent, stayed disciplined, kept learning. And now, version 2 has a financial cushion, has investments quietly growing, has reduced their dependence on a single paycheck, has options, has security, has peace of mind when they go to sleep at night. The only thing that separates these two versions of you is the decision you make right now, not the amount of money you start with. The decision, because here's the truth that financial gurus don't say enough: wealth is not a destination, it's a practice. It's built in the small, unsexy, repetitive decisions you make every single day. The decision to track your spending, the decision to delay a want today so your future self has more options tomorrow, the decision to learn something new about money every week, the decision to treat your financial future as seriously as you treat your career, your health, your relationships. These decisions compound, just like interest, slowly at first, then all at once. Before I wrap up, here's a quick summary of everything we covered, not as a checklist, but as a way for the ideas to settle in. The broke cycle is real, and it's designed to keep most people inside it. Breaking out starts with a mindset shift from earning, spending, and saving what's left to earning, saving first, and living on the rest. Your income is not your wealth, it's what you keep and grow that matters. Give every rupee a job with a simple budget. Start compounding as early as possible, even with small amounts. Eliminate bad debt aggressively. Redirect money from expenses toward assets. And above all, start now with what you have, where you are. If you made it to the end of this video, you're already in a different category than most people. Most people don't finish. Most people scroll past. Most people stay comfortable. You didn't. That matters. Now, the only thing left to do is take one small action, not 10 things. 1. Maybe it's opening a separate savings account today. Maybe it's writing down your monthly expenses for the first time. Maybe it's committing to a number, even a small one, that gets moved to savings automatically every single month. One action. That's it. Because one consistent action repeated over time is how every financial transformation in history has started. If this video helped you see something differently, share it with someone you care about. Not to be preachy, just because most of us were never taught this stuff and someone in your life probably needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next one.